How dare you? How dare you? How dare you do such a thing? How could you do this? You don't seem to understand. Your decision is going to hurt women and minorities and trans people. You don't seem to get how oppressive you are. Do you know how many more Valves there are in this house that I have to yell at? The internet said that Valve is oppressing people with their choice to go after freedom of speech as an ideal. What the hell's wrong with them? What do you have to say for yourself? Yeah, that's what I thought. What then? Whew. That was fun. Okay, so now I'm done yelling at my valves and all of the bad things will go away. But seriously, people, let's talk. Valve Corporation, owners of the gaming platform Steam, biggest gaming platform on earth, they decided that they were going to release a statement supporting free speech. More specifically, they said, when we curate games, we make all these value judgments for you. We thought long and hard, and we decided that the best way to deal with this situation was to stop making value judgments for the gaming public, and instead to accept anything that is not illegal and is not outright trolling. Those are the two things that they judge their content on now. They don't restrict games because the games are disliked by a certain group. They don't restrict games for being controversial. They don't restrict games for being offensive. But predictably, the usual lunatics on Twitter had to go run around and yell at all the valves in their house. Because that's what you do when you're a sane person. You run around yelling at valves in your house. No, they didn't yell at valves in their house. That's what I do. They got angry at Valve for saying that they weren't going to restrict what was put on their platform. Valve also said that they would provide more tools so that parents could decide what their children could play, and so that people could filter games they didn't want to see, so that if they don't want to see a controversial game, they can choose not to see controversial games. But that's not good enough. If you're a person whose entire life is just infiltrated by this notion that you need to control what other people can do, that you need to restrict choices of other people, otherwise they'll make the wrong choice and become bad people because of it. Because video games totally influence the way people behave, you guys. That hasn't been disproven. Oh no, that hasn't been disproven by countless studies since Jack Thompson tried to ruin video games a long time ago. There is a veritable shitstorm on Twitter of people who are complaining that Valve is making everything unsafe. That it's unsafe to allow content that they disagree with. Think for a second why it's important that content you disagree with be allowed in the first place. There are a lot of things that used to be totally fine that aren't anymore. And there are a lot of things that used to not be okay that are now. But at the time, people thought the opposite. Slavery used to be legal. It also used to be illegal for women to go to certain places, such as, swimming, in swimsuits that came below a certain distance above their knee. And there are pictures on the internet you can find from, say, the 50s of police officers measuring the distance between the bottom of a woman's outfit and the knee to see if they were breaking the law by wearing the wrong garment in public. That's not a thing anymore. Now, if these crusading nut jobs, these identity politics lunatics, are allowed to run the asylum, we'll basically be allowing that same kind of nonsense to take a stronger foothold in our society. If you're watching this video, chances are very good that you know that identity politics is cancer to our society. It's not good to divide people based on their identity. It's also not good to attempt to hide adults from controversial subjects and the exploration of those subjects. It's not good to restrict freedom of speech, because restricting freedom of speech means restricting what you are allowed to think, because what you think is influenced by what you are able to gather. When you push controversial subjects into the underground, you make them more attractive, You make it much more interesting to people who are the very people you don't want to think what those controversial things cover. It gets worse because it's not just the whole freedom of speech thing. They don't just go, oh, I don't like this, so it should be blocked. No. The rhetoric that has come up over the past 5 years or so is one of safety. Apparently, the human race, particularly the younger components of the human race, have become amazingly fragile, like a flimsy ancient vase made of inferior materials sitting in a museum somewhere. The previous generations did not have this problem. Usually when you think of young people, what do you think of? You think of invincibility, perceived invincibility of the self. I can go do this risky thing because if I do this risky thing, it's not going to hurt me because it's worked out so well in the past for me before to do all these random risky things. You know, I'm invincible. I don't really think about the consequences of what I do, blah, 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 blah. Things that they don't like are dangerous. Things that they don't like invalidate their lived experience. I'm not 100% sure what that even means, but last I checked, there's no way to invalidate your experiences. You experience a thing, it happened. It's just this ridiculous play on words to make yourself out to be a victim. It's fashionable to be a victim. You get a lot of attention if you're a victim. So everyone now is fragile. Everyone has the thinnest skin on the planet. Everyone is a delicate vase standing on a 100-foot high shelf with a bunch of monkeys on stilts running around it, swinging foam bats, trying to knock it off. When did we fall this far that a company that basically just curates a market of video games saying, we're not going to make judgments for you, you can make the judgments for yourself, and if you don't like it, just don't buy it? When did that become offensive, nay, unsafe, dangerous, harmful? When did that become a thing that was going to chase people off and was going to permanently alter their psyche in a negative manner? It's really hard to feel bad for any of these people. How can you feel bad for somebody who you know is capable of making decisions on their own and has no problem behaving in ways that are legitimately unsafe sometimes? You know, all the activism stuff. What are the things that we've had lately? Let's see, the Berkeley riots, the Evergreen State College takeover, and the hunting of that one professor there who was told not to go to school because they were hunting him to do God knows what to him. You know, keep in mind, those are all the same people that want things to be safe, that don't want you to put a video game on the internet, to offer up a video game for dollars because it offends them and somehow that becomes unsafe. It's safe if you are threatening people with actual harm. It's safe if you are attacking, you know, white male people. It's not safe if you offer up a video game that explores the possibility that you might be wrong about something. That's what it is. It's not safe for other people to disagree with you. It's not safe. Oh my God, I get it now. It's not safe for people to disagree with you. It's not safe for people to think differently. It's not safe for people to be interested in a subject that you don't want them to be interested in. So basically, it's not safe to think differently from you. That doesn't sound like you feel unsafe. That sounds like a threat. It sounds like a threat against people who disagree with you. Well, I think we've decoded the message. If you disagree with me, it's not safe, and I'll make sure it's not safe for you. That's what we're supposed to think. Well, got that in my head. Now I'm going to go and program rabid AIDS fart, gun violence, donkey punch, mutilation, goo Simulator 2001 and put it up on Steam. It will be quality, and it will totally be awesome, you guys. That's it. I gotta go code. I'll see you guys later. I got a great idea. Hey, that valve over there's oppressing me. Being under the sink isn't going to save you, oppressor scum.